Hugh Wilson here, co-founder of MarketClub, with your weekend update for the trading week ending December 9th. This year's gone so quickly. So the question is Santa coming to town, or is the Grinch going to ruin everything for investors this year? With many of our indicators in the mixed mode, it is difficult to make a call. Throw Europe into the mix and you have the perfect recipe for an even higher degree of uncertainty. But here's the good news. There are a number of stocks that are doing really well, despite the massive uncertainty that seems to be in the markets right now. This week, in addition to our regular weekly update, we will be analyzing a number of stocks in the US, Canada, and Australia that are doing really well. So let's get started and go to the charts and see what our trade triangle technology has to say about the major markets and the jewels we have found in our investment world. So here we are, we're at a portfolio. So let's go to this is the homepage of MarketClub. Let's go to our portfolio. And here you can see the markets we're going to be analyzing today. We'll start with the S&P 500, and if we put that chart up on, you see it's a 55, meaning trading range right now. If we put that chart up, this is a year-to-date weekly chart, and I just want to roll some of these lines through here to show you exactly where we stand. So here we are. If we look at where we closed last year and where we are today, pretty much flat for the year. The question is are we going to go over the highs of 1,300, which would be very positive in my mind? If we just stay below that, then I think 2012 is shaping up to be a very, very good year. So we'll have to watch that very closely. Next market we're going to look at is going to be the silver. And again, I'm going to draw a line from where we closed last year, right around here. The silver is pretty much flat for the year, not too much of a move, maybe up about 8%, but not a lot of action there. And the action for the week with the 65 is a trading range. So you can see from September on, this market's been going sideways without any real direction. So moving right along, because we've got a lot of stocks to cover today. We are looking at other markets, so you can take a look at this market. This is the gold market, and the gold market, in my mind, is a little bit different because you still have the monthly green triangle, which is a longer-term bullish signal for this. Unlike silver, has the red, and you can see just quickly where we closed last year, 2010, and where we're trading right now. So the market is considerably higher. So we closed, I would say, right around the 1,400 level last December. Now we're up at 1,700, so it is doing better. And I think this may be the year we possibly go over 2,000. Can we say that? We'll see what happens. But let's go to our next market. And this is copper. Now, copper is really hasn't done well. It closed right around, I'd say, around the 425 level last December. And here we are at 355. So it's down considerably from where it closed last year. With a 55, a plus 55, indicates a trading range. However, the bias has to be on the downside because of our red trade triangle, a monthly trade triangle, indicating a negative. So, and here's the indication right here. So at 389, so the market's considerably lower than that, so it's showing a good signal. And let's go to our next market. In the next market we're looking at is the crude oil. And crude oil, this is just amazing. When I was doing this earlier, I looked at this market and I said, oh, this is hard to believe. But if you take where we closed last year and we simply draw a line across here, I mean, we're basically almost unchanged for the year, maybe up 3 or 4%, but not very much. And I think that's an indication of maybe things to come for 2012. All of our indicators, our monthly and our weekly, are positive, indicating that the trend is still up. And even though we closed lower for the week, it still looks like it wants to go higher. So, yeah, for the week we closed down only 1.3%, not very much, but it looks like it still is in a bull trend. Obviously, resistance around the 105 level. We'll have to watch that very carefully in the new year. So going to our next market, this is the dollar index, and this is where it gets to be very interesting also. If we just look at where we see this market, and coming up we'll be looking at, by the way, we'll be looking at the stocks we found that look really good, so stay tuned for that. But here you are, the dollar is practically unchanged for the year. It's just a minuscule amount, and I think that's it's maybe 0.09% for the year it's down. So not much going on there, but it looks like the trend is still bullish. All of our trade triangles are bullish. It has had a nice move up from the lows. However, the 80 level is definitely resistance, and the 79.50 level is also resistance. So let's see how this plays out next week and into the new year. Next market we're looking at is the CRB, Reuters Jeffries CRB Commodity Index. And this is really interesting because I don't know if you're married or you go to the supermarket or what you do to buy food, but it seems to me food prices have been going up quite steadily. And if you look at this indicator, it would say that prices really should be, it's saying inflation for the most part is down. I mean, this trend is clearly down, and we're lower than we closed last year, indicating that the prices are lower overall. But go to the supermarket, and it's a different story, that's for sure. So anyway, we have looked at the major markets we normally look at, and we've done that very quickly. So I want to go spend more time on the new markets. So we're going to look at, first stock is going to be Questcor Pharmaceuticals, and I want to show you this stock. And as you can see, all of our trade triangles are positive. Our last buy signal on Questcor was in April, and you can see the price. Let me just take this line off here. Is at $16.66. The market's currently trading at almost $46, so it's almost a $30 gain on the stock. And you can see it just came from April. Very steady trend. We've never had a sell signal based on our monthly trade triangles. The last buy we had was at $29.43 on a weekly. If you'd like to find out how we use our monthly and weekly and filter these, you can give the office a call or become a Market Club member, and you'll have access to all those rules and trading triangles that we put in. These triangles, by the way, are dynamic. And if we just simply draw a line on this chart, and we take last year's close and just go forward, you can see this market is up considerably from about the $17.50 level to where we are now. So up almost $30. But you can see we got in very close on the upside. So it worked out really, really well for us. These are many of the stocks you can find using our Smart Scan technology, which is a button right up here on the top, and it really works extremely well. So let's go to our next market, and that's going to be a stock called Tyson Foods. You're probably familiar with that. And again, if you look at Tyson Foods, we have a plus 90, which is a very strong trend, closed very well on Friday. These are weekly charts, and there's really nothing above this market for the time being, but you can see where we closed last year, and that was right around these levels right here. And let me get my trend line on. And these are trend lines, by the way. You can draw them any way you want, but you can see right here that Tyson Foods actually quite a bit higher than we closed last year. And but it was lower, and that's the important thing to learn. In fact, let me get that little straighter line. It looks a little better there. But generally speaking, obviously, for the last several weeks, probably a couple of months since early October, this market's been on a pretty standard run up. If you remember, we had the big move up in October, and November sort of sideways, but we've continued up, and we're in new high territory. I'd expect this market to be moving higher early next week and also next year. So let's go to our next market. And again, we're going to rely on our trade triangles to tell us when to get in and when to get out. Now, this stock is Nike, one of my favorite shoes companies and sportswear apparel, I guess. But Nike, just do it. That was their famous logo. But if you look at this stock and you look at where it was last year and where it is today, it's putting a pretty good performance. I think you have to say it's up not considerably, but it is higher for the year, unlike the S&P 500, which is about flat for the year. And I think that's the important element in terms of picking stocks that really do work. That's a better level for that. Picking stocks that really do work, and I think that's the key to being successful. Nike looks like it wants to go higher. It's a nice high close for the week, and obviously the highest close we've seen quite some time in this stock, and I think we'll see this market move higher next week. Certainly, it has the potential to move up to over the $100 level. And speaking of $100 levels, our next stock, McDonald's, very bullish. You can see we got long here right back in this time window at $77.59, currently trading at $98. I think this stock will be touching 100 next week. Closed very, very well. I expect it to open well on Monday and probably continue up and at least touch triple digits, $100. Now, if you look back on this stock, you can say, well, this is a nice run, but how has it done in the past? Well, if you go back here, you can see we've had some really nice runs in McDonald's. There's a nice play from here, from this level here, in at 59, out at 65, in at 71, out at 74, in the last time 77.59. Nice run up. This is monthly trade trials, just for longer-term traders, have done extremely well. So let's look at our next market, and I'll scope this in a little closer, year to date. And this is on the Toronto Stock Exchange. And this is NYMEX NG Bear. And you can see that's had a nice run-up. There's the last buy signal there at 916. It's currently trading at 1560, which is a nice trade. And you can see if we just draw our lines in here, just how this market's going. Now, all these stocks show up in SmartScan when you're looking for either new monthly trade triangles or weekly trade triangles, whatever you're looking for. And if you have these stocks in your portfolio, of course, you will get an alert via email. So very, very powerful function for Market Club members. And you can see you don't miss markets in Market Club with our trade triangles. You always catch the big moves when they occur. So let's go to our next market. Next stock is Enbridge on the TSE, and you can see basically this is closing really well for the year, also closing very, very well for the week. And if we draw our trend line in from last year's close, you can see pretty much it's had a really nice move up to from 29 up to 36. Actually, probably a little lower than that. I think probably somewhere like that, maybe about 28.5. But we're splitting hairs. But again, you get in very nicely here with the monthly trade triangle. Next market we're going to look at is going to be the Bell Canada Enterprises, and that's performed extremely well. Last signal on the monthly 39.65, which is right here. The market's currently trading at 40.72, not so far away, but closed very well on Friday. And this is new high close here. So if you look at where we closed last year, you can see this market's actually put in a nice performance. And the key thing is to really try to diversify and look at things. But Market Club, the strategies and the scans will find these stocks for you. And it's not so difficult. Yes, I'll say readily, not every stock is going to be a winner. No one has a 100% track record in this world, but you're going to have a lot of really good trades when you follow our trade triangle. So I'm going to go to two other stocks, and this is stocks overseas. This is on the ASX. This is OSTAR United Com. Now, look at the numbers here. We're talking about stocks that really are kind of like under the dollar range. With a lot of stocks like that, you got 100 plus 100. The last signal was $1.22. It's $1.24. Doesn't sound like much, but it looks like it's performing pretty well. And we have two stocks from there. And the last stock is going to be Cenex Energy. And of course, you see that's had a massive play from the back here. We closed at Cenex Energy right around here. I'll get that line in for you. Yeah, right around here, around 42 cents, and here we are 65 cents. I know we don't look at penny stocks here in the States, but in Australia it's a very, very big part of the ASX, and this is obviously would have been a 50% return to you in a relatively short period of time looking at, and 50% is always 50% no matter if it's on a $10 stock, a $100 stock, or a penny stock. So lots going on. Want to show you these markets today. Lots of opportunity. I think 2012 will be a great, great year for a lot of investors following our program. And by the way, we do have this coming January, an Investor Summit. I'm going to be there, and I'd love to meet you. You can call us at the number on the screen. If you're not in the U.S., you can call from overseas and use the number on the screen and get registered, because it's a very limited space. We're only having, I think, only about 40 or 50 people there. It's so you can really work hands-on with you and really get a feel for how we do things and how you can make money with Market Club. Well, we covered quite a bit today, and we're looking forward to being with you on Monday. And we'll be covering all the markets as usual and pulling some other stocks out that we like and some other markets, whether it's commodities, futures, or Forex. We'll be covering those markets as well. So have a great weekend. This is Adam Hewison for Market Club. I'll see you on Monday.